Right. So I have this case study open on my screen as well now. Okay. So first thing, let's understand what challenge this company has. So what are the challenges that the company is talking about? The owner of the company is talking about. Anyone? What challenges is the company owner talking about in this particular thing? So what challenge are we trying to address with the help of app?
So they just want to track like how many boxes are being sold, and
Okay.
they also want to track the number of visits that the sales guys are doing.
Right. So basically what is
In
happening here?
simpler,
Uh-huh.
yeah, in simpler words, they just want to track how many boxes are being sold. Just they want to maintain a database for that.
Okay, you are speaking through the mobile device or through the computer laptop? So through the laptop, Venkat. Okay, okay. Now it's muted, I guess. Okay, now it's muted, I guess, because I was getting an echo. Now it's fine. Yeah. All right. So what are the challenges we are talking about? One, they want to track how many boxes are selling. All right. What is the other challenge?
And how many sample boxes
Um,
are given
How
to
many
the
samples are being given? That's
Hello.
a challenge. Okay. What's the other challenge?
Oh, well, here actually they are talking about two things: the cost and the revenue. The cost means that's how the they are they send the sample to the customer. So the sample is also have one type of cost to the company, and the revenue that's actually by way of they are presenting their samples to the customer, how they collect the customer and get leads. That's we two things more important, I think.
No. So, all right. So maybe once after the session, I would again want you guys to read it. At least a couple of more times. Understand what exactly the customer is trying to talk about. All right. So to some extent, you guys are correct. Some points you guys are not correct. So we'll have to be very, very specific of what exactly the customer is asking. Okay, not here for every application that you start designing. So the customer talks about a few major things here. One first thing that he's talking about is something that you all missed is okay. I need to be able to track their efforts and determine which boxes are selling. Okay. So first thing he wants to do is he wants to track their efforts. So the business owner wants to track what these sales executives are doing, right? Second is which boxes are selling. Obviously, why do they need to understand this? Because it makes sense, right? If they have a production to do, they need to understand which boxes are selling, how many quantity, so that they can actually um, kind of so that they can actually uh, plan how much they have to produce. Let's say if you can produce 1000 units in 1 month, then the next question that you will have is that out of 1000, how many red, how many green, how many blue should I produce? Correct. And who will give the answer to that? Your answer will just come from which ones are selling more, right? If your red one is the one which sells most, out of 1000 you might want to produce 600 red and 200 green and 200 blue. All right. Okay, so this is what they need to understand, and whatever we are talking right now, for this app, each bit of this discussion you can associate it during your interview. You can be talking about any other app, or you can be talking about any other scenario, any other industry, but you can associate these things directly to your interview, right? So, the way I am trying to explain you the requirement or situation, if you are able to explain or convey the same way to your interviewer, not this scenario, I'm not saying that use this scenario. This is a very popular scenario that I use, and a lot of US companies already know this scenario, so don't have to talk about this scenario. But um, talk about any other scenario, but the basic logics I want you to understand, right? So the business has one requirement where the business wants to track which salesperson is doing what, the efforts of the salespeople, because they are going out and they are selling the product. Now, what exactly they are doing when they are out, the company is not able to track. All right. So they want to track it, that okay fine, once a person is going, how many visits that person is making, to which store that person is visiting, and after that, are we getting output, or are they just making visit and which does not give any return. That's one. Second is which boxes are selling. That's the second one. And then comes the third part, which is the sample boxes. To help the sales efforts, our salespeople carry sample boxes that they distribute to store owners that show some interest. All right. So this is the third part. This is where the third challenge is. The sample boxes are at a cost to the company, so I need to track how many samples they are giving out, because they cost a bit to the company. So they just want to figure out how many samples are being given to which customer. So rather than just taking a number from the sales guy, he says that I've given 10 samples today. I also want to track to which customer he gave those 10 samples, right? Because the samples are coming at a cost as well. So that's the thing. That's ultimately what we require. So ultimately, I need to know what my sales folks are doing, which sample boxes they are giving out, and how they are building our customer base. All right. So that's what basically the company is looking at. I also need the following. I need to track the number of visits. I need a couple of reports around the number of visits, gift boxes sold, and whenever a final sale of gift box is done, an automated email needs to be sent to their supervisor, right? So that's what we have to do. Now, okay, and read the last line once and let me know what do you understand from this. What does this mean? What does the last line mean?
Yeah, they are talking about the user customized object, instead of just using a standardized object given into the Salesforce as
Yes.
according to requirement of case.
Right. So it's not customized object, it's custom object. Okay. It's very important for you all to use the correct terminologies. Right.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
so
the first impression that you are giving to the interviewer is wrong. That you
okay,
don't even know the terminology. So be very, very specific or clear with the terminology. Whatever. If it's a profile, it is a profile. If it's a permission set, it's a permission set. Okay.
okay,
Sometimes I've seen, people actually making mistakes in these terminologies. Instead of permission set, sometimes we talk about profile. So let's start getting into that mode where you write use the exact terminology and you understand what that terminology means. So because
okay, okay.
every one of
Yeah,
you,
I got
when you are trying to go into the uh, you know interview calls and all, you guys will need to show a bit of experience in your resume. That's the fact. Okay, so you just don't go uh, as a fresher, or you just don't go for an interview and say that no, I do not have any experience. Sometime some experience you'll have to put in your resume. When you're putting some experience in your resume, it is important for you to show, or at least use the terminologies in a way so that they can understand that yes, you have actually worked on it. Okay. So that was just some small suggestion. Right. Yes. So that's exactly what we are talking here. We are talking about using the custom objects instead of the standard objects. So make assumptions wherever necessary. So you guys are free to make assumptions where necessary in addition to whatever we have here. In case you want to make any of your assumptions, you can do that. And you should use all custom objects. So none of the standard objects should be used. All right. Okay. So how will we start doing this? What should be the first thing that we should do about it? What's the first thing that you guys are going to do? It's going to be a full custom app with all custom objects. So what is the first thing that you guys will need to do? Anyone?
Custom app, we means
Create a
one
custom app.
custom
Okay.
app.
Before
Creating app.
creating the custom app, before that, what
Yes.
we need to do? What's the first thing after this? After reading the requirement, what's the first thing that you will need to do?
We need to figure out what are the objects we need to create.
Right, correct. So you need to build the database, data structure or the data schema, correct? So open an Excel spreadsheet and you will need to list down what all objects will be required. Now you understand the requirement and the process. Okay, the process and the requirement is given to you. Now you will kind of list down the objects and the fields. Once your objects and fields are listed, then you will have to get into uh, creating those custom apps and objects and everything, right? So let's do a quick discussion on the data structure for this so that you guys can do it or build it or complete it later on. So what all objects you think will require here? So this is how you should start. Got the requirement, open an Excel spreadsheet. Let's start getting the uh, the fields and the objects. Okay. So what all objects do you think we require one by one? Let's get the objects here. If you want, you can read the case study once again. You will get to understand which all objects we require. Read it once again.
First one is boxes.
Yep. Done. So what objects are required? What's the first object that we'll need to put in here?
Gift boxes.
Gift boxes. I think we need an object for that. All right. Okay. What all fields you think you will have in this gift boxes object?
Color field,
Okay.
size of the box, color of the box.
Color of the box. Okay. So this is how you have to list it down. Okay. Color field will be what? What will be the data type for it?
Pick list.
Going to be a pick list. Okay. Very good. Size is also going to be pick list.
Yes, pick list.
Okay. Then what else? Cost and price.
Maybe price of the, yeah, currency.
Okay, so this is currency, this is also
Currency.
currency. Fine. So we are on with the first object. Okay, what other object do we need?
Salesperson.
We need to list down salesperson.
Sorry, salesperson.
Okay, I want others also to participate. Salesperson, what all fields you have in a list. Whatever you guys feel, you can list it down here. Okay, so it's not
Uh,
my app, this is your app. So whatever you have in mind or whatever you're thinking of, feel free to speak. Yes, salesperson will go have what? What all details? What all
Name of
fields
the
should we
person.
have? Name of person,
Name.
name. Okay, what else?
His contact number.
Phone number, email ID. Anything else?
Which team does it belongs to?
Okay, belongs to sales team.
Maybe there are two or more sales team. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so this team
My
is going to be a
target.
pick list.
Mm,
Yeah. What other object are we talking about?
like leads, leads.
Leads is what in this case?
Oh, okay. Okay. In this case, if suppose
Customer.
yeah, customer. Obviously, if suppose salesperson go to the stores, and so after going to the store, how many customer agree to our product, by using a sample, like.
Right. So instead of lead, let's make it stores.
Okay.
We are talking about going to stores. Okay, so stores are going to be the lead. So if we are actually talking about this situation specifically, then let it make it stores. Okay. So what all fields do we need to track for stores?
Name of the store.
Name of the store. What else?
Oh, manager of the store. Something. Yeah.
Manager of store.
Address of the store.
Address.
Address
Store
and
name,
phone
store
number.
manager, address,
Phone number.
phone number.
Annual selling,
Sorry,
annual
revenue.
selling of the store, revenue or selling of the store, so we can
Okay.
identify that which store has a good market.
Okay. Good. What else?
Mm, okay, store is okay, I think.
Store is fine.
Hmm.
So along with address, it will be, this is a street address basically. Whenever we are talking about address, now this is important. Wherever you are talking about address field, you should put street address, city, state, zip code, country. That's how it should be,
Hmm.
right? So never try to put complete address in one single field. You can put it, but the problem is that when you try to do a report or something, you will have a problem. So while I'm talking about address, let's have it as street address 1, street address 2. So this is the most common thing which is used. City, state, country, zip, postal code. Right. There's one more thing which you guys are missing for the
Order,
store, which is the
order.
shopping malls.
Okay.
See, we are targeting stores in the shopping malls. Okay, so
Hmm.
that's a small requirement mentioned here. So maybe you might want to have a field here called shopping mall, which can be a pick list.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay. What other objects? So we have talking about, we have already done the gift boxes. For that we have an object. We have one for salespeople. We have one for stores. If you will
Order.
come, think while you're building your own app, if you think of a few more fields, you are absolutely free to add them. So as I mentioned in the requirement itself, make assumptions wherever required. So if you want to make some assumption and add a few fields, please feel free to add. We are just doing the initial thought thing, but once you're building, you can add a few more fields. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Apart from these three, what other object do you think we require?
Like
What is
order,
the process which is happening? The store is there, the salespeople is there, then what is happening? What transactions
visit,
are? Sorry?
visit.
Visit.
No, we cannot.
Yeah, okay. The sales visits.
Sales visit.
That's what they want to track. Correct.
Yes.
So in the sales visit, you can have the ID of the visit, you can have the date of the visit, you can have the duration of the visit,
Okay.
and which store that visit was made to, and who was the salespeople who made that visit.
Yeah.
Right. So in the visit, these two fields are very important. Which store is being visited and who's visiting it. So this will be a lookup from salesperson table, and this will be a lookup from the store. Duration can be a number. Date will be the simple date field. All right, you clear on this? Okay. Now what is the next thing which needs to be tracked? Till the visits we have done absolutely fine. What's the next thing that you need to track? What is the next thing that we need to track? The boxes which are selling, which boxes are selling, and which
Yes.
samples are being given.
Yeah.
All right. See, so now when you are selling the box, try and understand this. There are two things which we need to track here: which all samples are being given, how many samples are being given, and how many boxes are selling. Okay. Ultimately, if you see, it's the same thing. You just want to understand how many boxes are being given to which particular customer. All right, either paid or non-paid, either free or with payment, but how many boxes are to be given, right? So for this we don't need to have two different arrangements. We need to just have one object or something in place, and I should be able to distinguish between a sample and the real sale, actual sale, and the sample being given. That should be okay with me. So let's do one thing. Let's create one object called sales invoice. Okay, in that sales invoice you will have an ID, you will have the date, you will have which store that invoice was generated for, and you will have a um, ID, date, store, and who was the salesperson who sold that. Okay, and for this sales invoice, usually when you go to a store or anywhere, you will see there is a sales invoice that they give you, and there is a line item for that. Okay, what is a line item? Let's say your sales invoice has you are buying 5 pencils, 10 pens, 20 notebooks. These are all line items. 5 pencil is one line item, right? So usually how does your sales invoice get created? in a, if you just go to a store, particulars,
Quantity, rate, amount,
quantity,
rate,
rate,
amount.
amount. Okay, so let's say you're buying pencils. You buy 5 pencils. The rate is 2. Total becomes 10. You're buying pen. Quantity is, let's say, 10. Rate is 5. Total becomes 50. Okay, so each one of this is a line item on the invoice. So this way, finally, your invoice total will become some amount. Let's say 600 or whatever. Okay, so this entire thing is invoice. This complete thing is the invoice, and each entry into this is a line item. Okay, this is called a line item, each line in the invoice, right? So for this line item, we'll have to have another object in place, correct, which will be the child of the sales invoice. Pretty much logical, because I cannot put multiple products on the same invoice object in one single invoice object. If the customer is buying red box as well as green box, I cannot put that in the same object, so I'll have to have a line item object here. So let's have the line item object. Line item object will have an ID, which will be an auto number. Then we will have the product or the gift box. Which product are we talking about? This will come from the gift box, right? This product will come from the gift box. This is a lookup to the gift box. And then we have quantity, which will be number, amount. Price we don't need to give because price is already here, so this should come as a formula. Okay, so amount will be price into quantity, so this will be a formula. So price it should pick from the lookup object, correct? So this is going to be a formula here. Let me know if there is any confusion here. It's pretty simple, logical, right? So each line item will be entered with which product, what quantity, and what amount. All right, and total of this should become invoice total.
Sales invoice.
So this invoice total should be a sum of all these line items under that particular sales invoice. That's it. That's what we have to do. Okay. Now there's just one small thing missing here, which is about where is the sample being tracked now. For selling tool, we have made arrangement. Now the price and everything is being done. Where is the sample being done? Where is the sample being tracked? All right. So for tracking the sample, all that you have to do is in the gift boxes itself, you can have a field called type, and this type can be a pick list where you can say actual or sample. That's it. So here what we are going to do, we are going to put a logic that if the type is actual in the formula for the uh, line item total or amount where you put in the formula, you just have to put a logic. If the type is sample, then the price should be equals to 0. This thing should become 0. Got it? So that's what we are gonna do. Correct. So that is what will happen whenever there is a sample that is being given, you are generating an invoice for that also. Right. So all that you are doing is you're just going to generate an invoice for a sample being given as well. All right. And then once your uh, invoice is generated, the amount that appears on that is going to be 0, because that's what we are controlling from our logic, right? So this is overall the structure of the app which you should be creating. All right. So this is what I want you to do over this weekend, and if possible, look into these requirements also. Whenever a final sale of gift boxes is done, an automated email needs to be sent. Okay. So you can put a logic whenever there is an invoice created and the total amount of the invoice is more than 0, then you need to send an email. So this is something which can be done through a workflow rule, right? And some reports using visits, gift boxes sold. So this is something that you can skip for now. All right. So that's it. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's what we need.
Mhm.
I just want you guys to take a screenshot of this page, right?
Yeah,
Just
I have
quickly take a
opened.
screenshot of this so that you can go back and work on it. So I want to see this app ready by Monday. Once we meet, I want to see this app ready, right?
Okay. Okay, sir. I have one query. I have sent